We have one final mission left. The the necromancers. You know? No, we have. No, we need to attack their leadership. That's what we had. We wrapped up all of them. Yep. One thing. The disarming. It's the disarm is supposed to be gotten at skill level 8, not 9. So the character karma distribution screen is the one that's basically giving you wrong information. It is supposed to work in a way that you get it at 8, so that's why we have it. Which means we can basically call it quits on pushing the character development further. There's no point. We're good enough, at least as far as pistol is concerned. We might get minor accuracy boosts here and there, but it just isn't worth it. Body and dodge is much more valuable to us. Dodge, their chance to hit with physical attacks goes down. Body, we get more hit points, and their chance to... they have an increased chance to do reduced damage. So very useful. Taking it. Probably few points in dodge too. So I'm more than happy with our current level of offensive abilities. Might not be the best possible, but it's good enough. So where survivability is the key here. Less damage, less hits. And yeah, more hit points for us. I'm guessing investing in body in general, yeah, probably can't invest quite this much, makes you incredibly hard to take down. That might be one type of build to try to do sort of a tank. Put lesser focus on killing ability and be the tank of the group to go in there to take damage. Probably a physical focus of some sort, a little bit of strength and close range combat, melee weaponry, that sort of thing. That's for another time. Should I focus more on the body? I mean, ignore the dart for now. We only need one extra point to get the body higher. We don't need to get it too high, but somewhere 6, maybe 7. Anyway, one extra point body for now. 66 hit points. Where do we need to go? There was Prestige International contacted us, so we at least have a mission for them. Doesn't particularly matter what we do here now, just as long as we do something. See if these guys have any new things to sell. You have to be assigned to a mission. It's not just good enough. Not good enough that you have been invited here or are a member. You have to have an active mission. Any more work? Hans nods and taps a few keys on his comm unit. Yeah, I do. There is some trouble brewing in the stuffer shack. It was recently purchased for the ostensible reason of refurbishing and reopening. However, this is apparently just a front. We have concrete intelligence that indicates a wanted criminal is actually the buyer, and he intends to turn the place into a drug dealing operation. We personally do not care too much about such things, but we were offered sizable contract on this criminal. Taking him and his group will pay 5,000 million. Are you interested? Yeah. Yeah. Was excellent. Please speak to Gertrude to begin the contract. You need consumables, our arms locker can provide them at wholesale cost. Suffer Shack Run. Ah yes, of course. Food fight. Mission is in the local Stuffer Shack. To be somewhat obvious, this is just to the west of the shopping mall. Proceed to the location and assemble a team when you get there. You must terminate all targets with extreme prejudice. Return to me when you are successful and I will update your account with 5,000 yen pay. Best of luck to you. Looks like a kill mission, so we don't have to be... Probably can avoid taking deckers and the like. More of a minigun than a submachine gun. Comes with integrated smart link. Capacity 150 shots. Yikes. 1,500. Shotgun HK-101. A potent burst fire shotgun with a drum magazine. 8,700. Oh shit. Massive damage. Barrett Model 121. Damage 35. A 50 caliber sniper rifle, slow to fire and reload, with SmartLink improved crits and range. Holy shit, yeah, that's dangerous weapons. They have the pistols, really. Holy shit. They're not for us though. Still, nice to see properly impressive weapons here. Probably going with mage into street samurai. Maybe a shaman. Elementals just have the basic attack that drains action points and they're totally sacrificable. Stuffer Shack. The Stuffer Shack here in Uptown has been shuttered for some time, closed by authorities after multiple health violations and public disturbances. There was some minor fanfare when it was purchased, with the promise of restoring its fabulous fast food to the locals. Apparently that isn't going to happen. A crime gang actually purchased it for a front, and they made a big mistake of pissing off someone who can afford the prestige international contract. whatever they have planned for the place, it's just going to go back on the market shortly. Nephilim Network. Mercenary Priest. Hickmaster. Yeah, Hacker Rigger combination. I'm very familiar with this. And he's good at what he does. Father Brian has all the basics. Basically a mage. Some conjuration abilities too. Arm Tattoo of the Mystic. Raises where spellcasting. A very good support. Has decent attack, healing, haste, barriers, distraction. And the typical guys. I'll take Street Samurai. Quite a few of them. It still makes a lot of sense to get someone who can heal. Humbles. Let's try Chesty Macmillan. Drek, take these guys out. Well, half a dozen enemies right from the start. A pretty standard bar fight, I guess. Have a revolver, max power, this is just a backup. An Ares Viper Steel's lever gun. They should have special firing. Heavy burst. Repeated burst on a single target, 5 attacks. Higher max critical, minus 10 accuracy. So, that sounds deadly. Only have 2 points, so that's the only thing. You can just do burst fire on this, you can't do the typical pistol crap. Yeah, none of these can use the pistol special abilities like chain shot. You have to buy an automatic pistol for that. I knew I read that somewhere, but then later on I couldn't find the information anywhere. That's pretty vital. You have to buy an automatic to replace the Browning max power, and there was sort of, I think it was damage 14, so basically pretty much the same, but can take advantage of those special abilities. Disarm. Might as well try it. Didn't do a critical, so yeah, worthless. Need a critical hit to get something out of it. You have burst fire. Doesn't exactly look good. That's it, doesn't look too bad either. That does a lot of damage. So very nice, very nice. My main gripe about all this weapon nonsense that we'll have to go through is that the information should have been readily available. It shouldn't require trial and error to figure this shit out. Reinforcements, melee guys. Yeah. Oh shit. Holy shit. Probably delay them quite a bit if this hits. And it misses. Well, like 1 out of 5. Ah, that sucks balls. 2 out of 5. This is more of a submachine gun. That's how it sort of acts. I don't think so, but it certainly looks like it. Let's try to disarm again. Okay, I don't give a shit about the disarm. You need a critical hit for it to do anything, and you basically sacrifice your entire turn to attempt it. I'm sure it's a fine ability if it works, but it's way too risky to use in any kind of combat situation, really. Not having luck today. Might be in serious trouble because we let two melee guys get close. They can score hits. I'm worried about the action point loss. I'll be fine there. Shotgun sort of sucks. Not a bad weapon, but in situations like this, it certainly doesn't shine. Stop them all, you're all fired. Out of a cannon into the sun. You're hitting quite well. Boss man. Yes, well. Be using melee. Coming right at us. No, you shoot them. Pathetic. Now this blasted thing does at least good damage. We need to be in cover. There's too many guys shooting at us. Same with you, get into cover. I don't see us being in any kind of real trouble. Unless they get lucky. Yep, they took down my character. So, yeah. I don't really have... Well, I could have used Stash, I suppose. It annoys me because we're in heavy cover, we have decent body. It's actually very hard at that point to do any kind of decent damage. Except when it happens, it happens. Yeah, I'm pretty much dead already. Guess I should just use turn-based mode when entering these. I'm ignoring them for now. Can't take them down anyway, so... waste of time to focus on them. Critical hit again. And hits again. So we're dead. That's not the problem. Sometimes you can get critical, sometimes you can get regular hits. The problem is most of the time you get weak hits when you're in heavy cover and you have decent body. Except when we are in heavy cover and have decent body. Still get the criticals. I need to go away with him. He won't survive the next turn. Yeah, those are the kind of hits I was mostly expecting. It's the reason I do want to focus on the body too. Things should go much smoother for us though once we get the dodge a little bit up too. So it's not like we can't do anything to fix the issues. Please shoot. It leaves only one really dangerous point for us. Weak. Once we'll rush the guy. Mission complete. Nitro 500. Do you want to end the mission? Yeah. So pretty straightforward combat. But yeah, we certainly have a big weakness still in how easy it is to hit us with physical attacks. We need to bring dodge up. Quickness certainly probably influences that, but I can't see the influence being anywhere near a proper dodge ability would have. One more body and more dodge. Hopefully we can massively increase our survivability. Currently we have armor 10. It's you can't get a higher armor than that. So we have good armor, we have a very nice amount of health, so we should have better survivability. Dodge clearly just relying on quickness and ignoring dodge is a terrible thing to do. Dodge has to contribute much more than massively more than quickness does. That's pretty much where we're gonna dump our skills at this point. Anyway, let's get paid. Should be 4,000. So it'll bring us up about north of 8,000, so we can afford to buy the new pistol. Place our old automatic. The difference shouldn't be massive, but you never know, because there could be hidden attributes there. What I mean is, what's the chance to do criticals and that sort of thing? It's not visible, but just by looking at the weapon. Yeah, we can. We can buy it from the regular shop too, though. I think it might not be a silenced version, but who gives a shit? 5,000. 5,500. So 9,000, almost 10,000. Stuff for a Shadowrun. Do you have anything else? Yeah, indeed we do. Another contract has come in and I need a team to fill it. This is a rescue and escort mission. The contractee is currently holed up in an industrial area outside Seattle. He must be retrieved and escorted to an escape vehicle. Does this sound like something you would like to do? No, but I'll do it anyway. Scene transition. No, we won't be doing it now then. I'm not in full health for one. Ruger Thunderbolt. Lone Star favorite heavy pistol, enclosed silencer. Silencer doesn't matter to me in the slightest, but it looks like an automatic. Powerful heavy pistol. Not as powerful as Ruger Thunderbolt. We have additional crap to sell if we get low on money or we need to desperately buy something. Okay, quick visit to the safe house to get healed up. And we'll come back. Looking at things now, it doesn't make much sense to ignore dodge. So dodging so long. Probably should take it to like level 3 at least fairly early on. It's sort of similar like the body. You can ignore it, but you shouldn't. You need to be about body 3 pretty much right from the start. I'm sort of starting to feel similarly with the dodging. These games are... they're always focused on combat, for natural reasons. So you just have to have the ability to physically dodge damage, quite a lot of it, constantly. It just makes sense to take it early on. And it's like, what is it, 5 points? Get it there. Maybe 6, I'm not sure if it starts from 1 or 0, probably 0. Still, it's fairly cheap, and it's totally worth it. You get about 40 coins to spend at the start, so it's not a huge investment. You still have enough points to specialize in something. Just make sure that you have survivability at that point. I suppose there are exceptions to that. I mean, if you know that you're not going to make a street samurai, I guess, like this, you're going to make some kind of summoner or a mage, then you can, I guess, delay it. Because someone else is always taking damage, you're sort of wiping their asses, supporting them, using your summoned spirit to take the brunt of the enemy damage. So it's not that big of a deal anymore. But for any kind of frontline fighter, yeah, probably should start right at the character. Take it at the character creation already. Just makes life easier. Especially now that I see how unimpressive disarming is. It's not like it's bad, but I've tried it a couple of times. It always hits, but it's a dice roll, is it useful or not? And the fights, you can basically take down a target, let's say with about 3-4 action points. So is it worth to spend 2 action points in an effort to disarm one? I'm sure if it works out, it's like the blind. It's probably game over for that particular content, but it's very unreliable. So unless you have some kind of overriding reason, it makes much more sense to just try to kill them. Maybe you're in deep shit. You know you can't kill the target. You have to try something to play it out of the fight, something like that. Or maybe you're just trying to get through delay things, something like that. Because in certain situations, for example, it's blatantly clear that you have to kill the previous group of enemies before the next comes, but you can't. So you have abilities that allow you to delay things, proceed at your own pace, that sort of thing. Or maybe the target is very, very tough to harm or kill, so instead of there it makes sense to try to disable it for instead of spending multiple turns from a single group trying to kill it, whittle its hit points to 0. So I don't know, but (90–95% of the game you're not gonna miss it at all. So not sure how worthwhile it is. That's sort of odd thing about this. There's this reminds me actually of Mass Effect 1 in the progression list, since there's a lot of empty space, and I've in certain sense I understand it, but it's for a video game. It's much more interesting if the empty space is kept to a minimum. because here you don't even see what it does. You have 3 interesting choices or rather abilities you get, and then it's a desert. There's nothing there. I sort of wish this is probably follows some kind of a pen and paper system. That's why it's like this. But I sort of wish that in certain sense there would be more courage when you design a computer game system based on this. This isn't terrible, but at the same time it's much more satisfying is when you pump points into abilities that you actually get something for it every time. It doesn't have to be major. I guess a good example would be the modern Fallout system, where every level up you get to pick up a perk. It doesn't have to be all that super massively useful, but it's nice that every time you get a level, you know you get to choose something. It makes leveling up very, very, very desirable and fun. Here, the extra karma, it's not, again, as I said, this is not a terrible system, but it's a lot of the time you don't really give a shit. You don't. Most of the time, you're not even sure what the fuck did you get. You certainly didn't get anything interesting, even remotely interesting. So I don't know what I'm buying with dodge, for example. I have zero fucking clue. I know it reduces chance to hit, but is it 1%? Is it 2%? 5%? What the hell is it? How useful is it? So I'm basically more or less working blind here. And my contrast to this usually is the Dungeons and Dragons gaming systems. It might not be immediately obvious for a new player there what it does, but there it is blatantly obviously stated. You get -1 to usually the enemy's chance to hit. And since you are working at a D20 system, it means it doesn't always work like this, but you increase pretty much your chance to avoid a hit by 5%. Or percentage points rather. But it doesn't always work quite like that, because the enemy can also influence his chance to hit. But the point is, you know what you're getting. There's no guessing game like in this game. But I'm not sure if it's a problem with the Shadowrun character creation system, or is it the developers of the game, because this has been a constant trouble with this game, that there's very little documentation, and even with the director's cut that sort of improves on those things, there's still a lot of guessing to what the fuck you're choosing in a lot of things. This game doesn't have any explanations, for example, on difficulty levels. Director's Cut has, but it still doesn't tell you what it does. It sort of tells you what to expect, what type of a background or skill level you should expect to get a satisfying experience or challenging experience out of the game, but it doesn't tell what the game does. And it's a problem, because one of the most annoying things in a game is if the computer cheats. There might also be some changes that you wouldn't expect. Sometimes you have friendly fire being disabled or enabled based on difficulty settings, things like that. 50 to 100% increases in hit point amounts on enemies. Or game cheats on how easily it hits with weapons and how hard it is for you to hit with weapons. The thing is, there's such a huge variety of how the difficulty could be achieved that it's still there's a dice roll on what kind of shit you're getting from that. So it's it's all part of the same problem. You don't really know how the mechanics work, what you're really getting. So you can sort of build a character based on those abilities you're looking at, but you can't really build a character. You don't know where it's good to stop, what you're getting. I guess extensive testing would allow you to at least to make an approximation of how the mechanics work. But yeah, not just playing the game or reading some kind of manual, which the game doesn't have, but whatever. You have to track it down in the internet, and the game isn't super popular. That might be hard too, but yeah. Don't know why I wanted to rant about it. It just sort of annoys me. Because it causes me to stare at these lists and options more than I should. And I'm staring them because I don't know what I'm getting. Does it make sense? Is 3 points enough, or should I aim for 6? I don't know what's a good investment amount. I'm sort of... Everything is basically half-assed because that's the only way you can do this. You can't know. Can't make informed decisions in that way. You're sort of, well, evading enemy fire is good, so more dodge is good, but is it really worth the investment? I don't know. I wish I did.